Have you ever wanted to become a TED Talk speaker? Now, hang on. Even if you said no to that question, let's face it, TED speakers are the most professional and well-rehearsed speakers on the planet. So every person who ever needs to develop a presentation can actually learn from the process. Now, normally preparing a TED Talk can take months. Here's the good news. I've been researching this topic for my students, and I've noticed that there are elements that make up a great TED presentation, and these elements are the exact same elements that make up any great presentation. It's just plug and play. So in this video, I'm going to break it down into the most important 9 steps that you can use for any presentation. And let's face it, a good presentation is a good presentation. Stay tuned. Q&A Tuesday, all your voice questions answered. Hi, I'm 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒗𝒆, founder of the Voice of Confidence public speaker training course. And today it's all about preparing for a TED-like presentation. Now, whether it's for work or a keynote speech, these tips are actually handy for all speakers to help you prepare a polished presentation. So let's dive in. Number 1 is unleash the passion in your voice. The reason that most people do a TED Talk is to share a new and interesting big idea, something that will change the world, or at least change the way that people think. The sound of passion in your voice uplifts and inspires your audience, but you can't inspire someone unless you're inspired yourself. You stand a much greater chance of persuading and inspiring your listeners if you express an enthusiastic, passionate, and meaningful connection to your topic. If you don't know how to access the passion inside of you, try thinking about something that really annoys you and go off on a rant about it. That's passion. Now, that's passionate about something you're against. Now you just have to flip that and make the passion be something that you are for, not against. Number 2, tell personal stories. Our brains are wired to connect with storytelling. Storytelling is one of the oldest forms of communication, and it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Stories can inspire, engage, uplift, sadden, shock, and help you connect with the audience in a much deeper way. Telling stories really reaches people's hearts and minds. And in fact, brain scans reveal that stories stimulate and engage the human brain, helping the speaker connect with the audience and making it much more likely that the audience will agree with the speaker's point of view. Now, make sure your story, however, is connected to the point that you're making or connected to the big idea of your presentation. Only tell stories that will help drive your point home, not unrelated personal stories. Number 3, practice, practice, practice. Harvard brain researcher Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor speaks about her stroke of insight. And that TED Talk has been viewed 15 million times. Dr. Jill actually said that she rehearsed her presentation about 200 times before delivering it live. Practicing relentlessly like that helps you internalize your content so that you can deliver your presentation as comfortably as if you're just having a conversation with a close friend. When I was a professional singer for many years, the rule of thumb when learning a new song was this: don't learn it until you can get it right. You practice it over and over and over again until you cannot get it wrong. Then it's in muscle memory. That's when you can truly start to play with the presentation and make it pop. Number 4, teach them something new. We humans love novelty. An unfamiliar, unusual, or unexpected element in a presentation can jolt the audience out of any preconceived notion that they might have. A novel idea can quickly give them a new way of looking at the world. Our mission in any presentation, remember, is to inform, educate, and inspire. And we can only inspire when we give people a new way of looking at the world. Try breaking down that preconceived idea or false belief and give them something else to think about. Number 5, a jaw-dropping moment. This is what scientists called emotionally competent stimulus. And that means anything in a presentation that elicits a strong emotional response from the audience, such as fear, or shock, or surprise. For example, a shocking statistic or a surprising story will grab the listener's attention, and that is remembered long after the presentation is over. And the reason is this: people will always remember how you made them feel, far more than the words that you're saying. I always tell my students, sometimes it's not so much about the exact words that you say. It's how you say it and how you make them feel that really counts. Number 6, the angel angle. Have you ever wondered why angels can fly? It's because they take themselves lightly. There's nothing worse than a speaker taking themselves too seriously. Using humor in your presentations lowers defenses, making your audience more receptive to your message. It also makes you seem more likable, and people are more willing to do business or support someone that they actually like. Now, the funny thing about humor is that you don't actually need to tell a joke to get a laugh. Educator Sir Ken Robinson educated and amused his audience in the most popular TED Talk of all time called How Schools Kill Creativity. He makes humorous and often self-depreciating observations about his chosen field, education. One of the humorous phrases he used in the TED Talk is this: if you're ever at a dinner party and you say you work in education, actually, you're not often at dinner parties, frankly, if you work in education. You see, by doing this, he was actually making a statement, and he was taking his rather somber situation of not having enough time to go to dinner parties, he flipped it and made light of the situation by bringing humor to it. So, lighten up. Don't take yourself or your topic too seriously. Your audience will thank you for it. Number 8, death by PowerPoint. PowerPoint is not your enemy. However, too much text inside your PowerPoint presentation is. Some of the best TED presentations are designed in PowerPoint or Apple Keynote, but regardless of what you're using, you can't fill up the slides with heaps of text. The best TED presentations are simply pictures and animations with very limited amounts of text. And that technique is called picture superiority. And it simply means that we're much more likely to recall an idea when a picture complements the idea. So use pictures to guide your talk, but don't rely too much on text on the slide. It's actually impossible to read all that text and listen to the speaker all at the same time. Remember, the audience should focus on you and your message, not on the PowerPoint. Lastly, number 9, be open and authentic. The most inspiring TED speakers of all time are open, authentic, and at times, vulnerable. Researcher Brené Brown even gave a TED Talk on the topic of vulnerability and how her own research led her personal journey to know herself more fully. Opening up in front of that live audience really paid off for Brené Brown in a massive way. Oprah discovered Brené Brown by seeing her on that TED Talk and then invited her to be on the show. Nowadays, Brené is a best-selling author and regular contributor to the O or Oprah magazine. So, bottom line is, Get out there and use these points to start preparing your own winning presentation. I hope you found that helpful today. Please let me know by dropping something in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video. See you then.